four-time Cup champion. This year's going to be 5.
With Jeff Gordon, he's just a winner and he's a champion inside.
I love Jeff Gordon.
I've been a fan of his ever since he won the championship.
I've never seen anyone handle a car like that.
People don't like him because of the way he drives, but he wants to win. I like that.
Jeff Gordon is my favorite driver.
Jeff, so the first time I ever heard your name was not on SportsCenter as much as you've been on there. Actually, it was Nelly's song, EI.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he put me on the map. I went to his concert and thanked him personally. I've always loved hip-hop, and I knew of Nelly, you know, but I didn't know of that song, EI.
I drive fast, he call me Jeff Gordon in a black SS with the navigation.
It's the coolest thing, man. It's funny when people started recognizing that. People were like, who's Jeff Gordon? And then, you know, it was awesome.
Was there really a difference? Like, you really noticed a difference in your recognition because after that song?
Not a lot of NASCAR fans are big hip-hop fans, so what I notice is you know, fans outside the sport that like a lot of different type of music, then they were like, yeah, man, I know you, yeah, cool, you know, and so, you know, that's when I really started seeing the sport grow outside of our core fan base.
I am so excited to be here in New York hosting Saturday Night Live. Awesome.
So you know what I got to ask you, because you've been on Saturday Night Live, you sit in for Regis Philbin sometimes. Are you going to start acting or doing television?
I have no problem being in front of a camera. I love doing, you know, certain things like that. The Saturday Night Live thing was a huge adrenaline rush. You know, it was just your heart's pounding out of your chest when you know you're getting ready to go live on TV and do something that's so out of the ordinary.
Now, I understand that there is a wonderful woman named Ingrid, a model, who's brought a smile to your face recently.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us how you met her.
I was, you know, hanging out with some friends and went, you know, out and did the Hamptons thing and all that.
Oh, did you try that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love the Hamptons.
Okay.
Hamptons are cool. And we ended up sitting next to one another at a dinner and started talking and was extremely impressed. And so we dated actually for, I don't know, a month or two. But then we actually broke up because I'd just gotten divorced. And I think she had, you know, just come out of a relationship. So neither one of us were really ready to make any kind of a commitment. And I said, you know, I'm going to mess this up if you know.
You're wonderful, but I'm going to walk away.
I told her, I said, you're amazing, and I'm going to mess this up. I know I am. And she was mad at me. That didn't make much sense to her. But luckily, you know, I went off and did my thing for about 1.5 years, and you know, I felt like I was ready. I still wasn't maybe ready, but all of a sudden we came back together, and I just said, you know, this girl is so amazing. She just has the personality, you know, that of what I like, and not to mention she's beautiful.
Jeff Gordon is a good NASCAR driver. He won the Daytona 500 a lot. I wasn't there, but I saw it on television.
So why have you won 75 times? Why do you have 4 series championships?
Well, I know I'm with a good team. Obviously, you have to have that.
What do you mean when you say team? Because I see you driving. What do you mean when you say team?
No, there's a lot more that goes into it. If you go to Hendrick Motorsports and you see the 500 plus employees that it takes to make up our 4 Cup teams, 1 Busch team, the man hours that go into building these cars by hand. And even though NASCAR has strict rules and regulations, we still, you know, have a lot of input in the car as a team as to how well that car does.
So you can make tweaks for all the rules and regulations. You can make tweaks to give yourself a little bit of an edge.
Definitely, and I think the closer that the rules are, the tougher it is to get an advantage, but when you do get it, it really shows up. Or if you get a driver that really has a lot of talent, then it's going to show up as well. And if you get those 2 that match together, you're going to win 75 races and 4 championships.
I'm so stoked. Daytona 500!
So why did you start the foundation? You know, to be candid, were you just another athlete or person who'd done well, who just thought, you know, that's the right thing to do?
It was a lot more than that. My crew chief, Ray Evernham, who was my first crew chief in the Cup Series, his son was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 1. So it you know, really hit home with me, and all of a sudden you start realizing how many kids are out there battling this disease. How do we find a cure? How do we get treatment? How do we do more?
I would never known that Mr. Jeff Gordon, Hendricks Foundation, was going to save my baby's life.
And I've been very fortunate to support some great groups like Make-A-Wish, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, you know, different hospitals, Riley's Hospital for Children that does amazing work in Indianapolis. And then hopefully the Jeff Gordon Children's Hospital will be doing some great work as well.
1, 2, 3.
I know you're very serious about your spirituality. Did your coming to a greater spirituality have to do with facing death and those kinds of challenges?
It did. I mean, I feel like I've tried to educate myself the best way I could, whether it be reading books or getting to know things about the Bible, religions, all different types of religions, as well as just my own experiences of going through the daily grind, you know. You're dealing with death a lot more off the racetrack than you are on. When you're on a racetrack, it's a controlled environment. And so, you know, when I'm out there, the only fear that's there is making sure I don't lose control of the car, because you have to put the car on the edge, which you're going to find out, in, you know, soon. I'm going to show you exactly what being on the edge is really like, man.
Woo! It's not supposed to be a fashion statement.
All right, Carlos, let's go.
I'm ready.
Hey, Jeff, you gonna scoot over?
Dukes of Hazzard's action.
If we're going through the grass, it's probably not gonna be on purpose.
NASCAR, hear me roar.
Are you ready?
Let's do it. All right.
All right.
Good. Don't tell my mom I did this. Coming up, if you think he's just a rap artist, you don't know Diddy.
kids.
Yeah, raised $2 million for kids. That's right.
You're a fan of big change.
Yeah, I'm an extremist just by nature, you know what I'm saying? And I just think these are extreme times, and it needs to be somebody that's gonna lead and do something that's crazy. Like, oh my God, he just took $5 billion and just, you know, started building schools or something. Yeah, something like that, something that you have out that would like really shock the world and be the right thing to do and really get people excited.
So you're not on the Oprah bandwagon where she's a big fan of Barack Obama and she thinks he should run.
You know, I mean, I love the way he speaks, but you gotta understand young people and the way they think. We've had a lot of black politicians talk us to death, you know what I'm saying? Right. People wanna see what people have done, whether it's a Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton.
In saying that, is that part of what drove you to get involved in 2004 with Vote or Die?
Yeah, with the whole Vote or Die campaign and just the awareness.
You're gonna say, hello, my name is Sean Combs. They also call me P. Diddy. It's your voter's card.
Raising people's awareness and empowering them as far as with their power to vote and putting it on their priority list.
Vote or die, baby.
You know, when we do it again in the next presidential election, it's going to be something that's going to be historic.
I know you said before that that you think a lot about Black history, and that part of what excites you is that you're making Black history. Who would you compare yourself to?
I wouldn't compare myself to anybody, you know.
If I were writing a history about you, I would say that you popularized entrepreneurship for a whole generation of young people. And I feel like especially for young Black men, myself included. You feel that way too?
I didn't do it by design. I just came and did what I knew I wanted to do. But young Black men wanted to either be, you know, a drug dealer or a ball player or a rapper. You know what I'm saying? And you know, to be honest, those were our choices. We're looking at those were our choices, and I think that I was able to show people that there's other choices, that to broaden the horizons, and I think I showed that it could be done.